What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the mask icon, Skull. And this is my very special guest, the man I've been trying so hard to get on the show. None other than the former United States heavyweight champion and the multiple TWF heavyweight champion, John Morris. Hello, John. How you been doing?
Things have been really good, actually. Nothing like kicking people in the face, but I still think I've done pretty good for myself since we closed the doors at TWF.
Yes. Oh man, we're gonna kick this thing right off. I just want to say, if you've watched any of my podcasts, everybody that every time I brought your name up, has given John Morris an A+. In my opinion is the only one that matters on this show. John Morris has never had a bad match, and you never had a dull season. And that is, honest to God, my opinion.
Well, how nice, because I agree.
Well, anyway, we're going to go ahead and get this Q&A going. And my first one is, what brought you to the TWF?
Well, let's see. Other than a few friendly faces backstage, which I had kind of, hooked up with and started, just building a good friendship with, I think it was just the fact of that I was looking for somewhere to make a name for myself, and there really wasn't anywhere that I felt deserved I guess a character like me in a way, if that's the word you want to use. I don't know. The more when I started seeing TWF tapes and stuff like that, it just, I don't know, something about it just screamed John Morris. And well, I tell you what, heck, like you said, all the great matches and stuff. I don't know. I just felt like it was the best decision. I think if I would have went somewhere else, I probably would have been buried, just beneath probably a bunch of other talent. But just somehow TWF was the perfect place for me to carve my niche, I guess.
Well, a lot of people don't argue about it, but I'm going to say the TWF is very well known for, not pushing aside the older guys, the veterans. But when a new guy comes in the door, they give them their fair chance. And like I said, when we started, you came in and, already started having awesome matches. Wasn't to the caliber that it was when you retired, but hey, none of us had great matches. Mine was pretty good when I first started, I gotta say. You know what I'm saying? But, I'm just saying, it can't always everybody be like Skull.
I definitely can't be like Skull. No offense.
That's your cross to bear, bud. You know what I'm saying? But we all got them. So, anyway. Oh, yeah. So, anyway, you come into the TWF and you start making an impact. And I believe you came in late of 2000, if I'm not mistaken. But 2001, already going into your career, you're really, and this is not being to insult your career, but a mid-carder. You were having matches with Johnny Sexy Boy Reyes, who really didn't have his niche into the business yet either. But you were, like I said, you weren't even a co-main eventer, you were just more of a mid-carder. And one simple move made you big. It was on TWF Steel. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was you and Sweet Tooth in the ring about to get it on. All of a sudden, Ozzy's music hits. He's coming out as a special guest referee. Sweet Tooth mistakenly turned his back on John Morris.
Well, that was his first mistake and, pretty much his last.
Yes, it was. He turned around like the Pillsbury Doughboy that he was. He locked eyes with Ozzy, and all of a sudden the camera zooms back. John Morris grabs him. Boom! Right on the back of the neck.
Tell you what, Sweet Tooth definitely earned a cavity that day, let's put it that way. So yeah, I dropped him on his neck, and a legendary move was born, if you want to call it that.
Yes. And, you know, a lot of people's like, why does he go, no? Why don't you explain that to everybody?
Well, because what had happened was, so I do the suplex, and when he lands, he basically lands on his neck, pretty much, and all of his weight, on his neck and on his sternum. When that happens, the referee, was saying they're trying to ask him, they're just like, "Are you okay?" And his response was, "No!" And that's where that all came about, so,
You just started calling it the no.
pretty much the no. I mean, a suplex didn't suffice.
But you know what's so funny? Because that's just a simple move. But when John Morris applied it to people, they stayed down. I mean, you didn't always just beat people with the Morris kick. When you first started off, it was the no. But I remember that day, everybody in the back was like, holy hell, did you just see that? And the truth of the matter is, you didn't mean to hurt the guy. But, you've been doing this for a couple of years now. Well, in TWF. And he was inexperienced. I mean, he only had maybe 3 matches. So,
well, I mean, I think that was the cool thing about it was, it's like you said, being a mid-carder, and I had to find something, that would push me to the upper echelon. I wanted to be up there with the guys like Bone and Psycho Jake.
Mm-hmm.
And, that wasn't necessarily the way that it had planned to get me to that spot, but regardless, it was definitely a huge stepping stone. Some little simple thing, and, happy accident, I guess.
Yep, exactly right. Exactly right. We're going to go on into Summer Death Games 2001. Same year. Now, this is why I feel that you are, without a doubt, a Hall of Famer in the TWF. Because not only have you not been there that long, but you were already main eventing a pay-per-view, Summer Death Games, which was one of our biggest pay-per-views. Bone was a special guest referee, which made no sense because why would you need a special guest referee in a ladder match against Psycho Jake? Talk a little bit about that match. I mean, because for back in that day, that era, that was a hell of a violent match.
It is definitely one of my favorite matches that I was in for a lot of reasons, and really a lot of it I think not only had to do with winning the TWF title. It didn't have to be just to do with things like the stuff we were putting each other's body through. My back has never been the same after breaking that ladder, that's for sure. But I think for me it was, I don't know, I think it was something about being somebody new, and I wanted to change the face of TWF. I wanted to take something that was great,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to make it better. And I thought, if I could just win such a, a match like that against a guy like, just a guy like him that from the moment I walked in, I thought, this is the guy to beat. This is the guy I've got to take him down, or, you know what I'm saying, I will be, like you said, a mid-carder forever. And there was no doubt in my mind when I was going into that match that night that I was not going to take down the King of Kings.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yes, you did. And what was the most impressive? There was no cheating. Can't Psycho ever say, well, he didn't have me at my best and somebody interfered. No. No. Even after he delivered that hell of a freaking suplex onto the ladder, which snapped the ladder right in half. And then, I remember, you yanked him off, boom, Morris kick. I don't even know if we was calling it that yet. But Psycho hit that ground. There you did, climbed the ladder, tell you was hurting, pulled that title off. That, to me, you can't ask for a better boost from a company.
definitely. And it really meant a lot to me that I won it the way that I did too. I didn't like you said. I didn't want there to be cheating.
Yeah.
If you could just call it cheating for a ladder match, and I didn't want there to be any interference or anything like that. I wanted to know for a fact that if I could come into this company and take down the top guy,
Yeah.
even if I only held the belt for a week, we knew it was longer than that, but even if it was just enough time to cement my spot, I knew that doing something like that would definitely leave an impact, and it did.
Yes, it did. I mean, that was the talk of TWF. The whole card was good, but you and Psycho stole the show. And what was funny was it wasn't more of a, hey, did you see the Psycho and Morris match? It was more of, did you see Morris go through the ladder? Did you see Morris kick Psycho in the face and become the champion? It was Morris's time, and you took advantage of it. To me, that's where the sky was the limit for your career.
Definitely was. And I don't know, like I said, it's definitely one of my favorite matches of all time. Whether I was in it or not, I can almost kind of remove myself from that and just watch that as a fan. Just be like, two guys went out there and did something special that night. And yeah, it's a classic. What can I say?
Yes, it is. Very classic. Held up throughout the entire years of TWF. But we go on. You won the title. Excuse me. It's 2001. Then all of a sudden, we only have seasons. We don't go year round because it's cold and I ain't wrestling no snow. Well, then 2002, Jeff Manson calls. He got ASW back. I don't remember if it was trying to start ASW all over or if it was a reunion. I can't really remember. But our champion at the time, John Morris. And it was so cool to see our champion with the big gold real belt. And then the guy that was going, whatever his name was,
Yeah.
what the hell was his name? Anyway, he's got the little foam belt. And I'm just like, look at this. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there watching it like, yeah, this is so awesome. How did you feel when it was pretty much like, John, go defend TWF. Go over there and show them why, you're the champ.
Well, it basically is like this. Like I said earlier, I didn't want to just walk into no rinky-dink hole in the wall and become the champion. I wanted to be the champion where, champions are defined. And going to a place like that, what could I say? I wanted to go up and not only prove what a real champion was, but to prove what a real organization was. And to prove that not only can I win matches in TWF or ASW or wherever it is, no matter what the initials are, I wanted to be the standard bearer. Exactly. And I got to go into ASW and prove that I still was, no matter where I was at.
Yeah. Even though ASW was another company, TWF had its own company, we're all backyard wrestlers. We all got that bond together.
True.
And, some people say, well, TWF is better, ASW is better, or this and that. To me, they were so totally different, it was hard to compare.
I agree. I don't know, when I really think about it, they really are two different entities. It's, to me, it's like comparing, and not saying one is more than the other, but just an example. It's like comparing UFC to WWE. It's not that one is necessarily better than the other, but one is great for its own reasons, and the other is great for its own reasons.
Yes. Well, you've heard it yourself. I don't know how you feel about ASW, but you've heard some TWF wrestlers go, ASW, boo them. They didn't like it. And I'm sure some of the ASW guys were like, boo TWF. They had to wrestle on a trampoline.
I think it just really boils down to where they started, and
exactly.
and I think that the ASW guys they respect the ones that I knew. I think that they respected him, as backyard wrestlers because they were too. I think it was just one of those, they're different. Just maybe that's how kind of TWF people kind of thought.
Well, see, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think what it is that ASW was kind of more of like this no rules kind of, anarchist kind of, group, I guess.
ECW style.
Yeah.
Almost.
In a way. And TWF was kind of a more refined, classic kind of, I don't know, it was just its own kind of thing, and it was kind of more, it was just special in its own way, I guess. And I think I think their loyalty was better, and I think their commitment to the brand was better. ASW guys, I think they, in a way, some of them might have thought that they were bigger than ASW, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And what they failed to realize was it's the brand that makes you, not you that makes the brand, really, when it comes down to it.
Exactly. And that's the complete way I feel about it, because I could sit down and watch the disc that I think we all own, TWF versus ASW, or vice versa, and I've seen some great matches on there. I really enjoy sitting there watching. But like I said, you got different people. Take, for instance, I know a guy that said he hated ECW. But if you talk to him about WWE now, he loves the Dudley Boys. Like, wait a minute.
Right.
That's just, I don't know.
People say, Jeff Manson fought in both ASW and TWF.
Yes.
And if you really look at it, yeah, he brought, his sense of ASW over, but he kind of molded his style into the TWF style as he came over, really. And you can almost separate the ASW Jeff Manson from the TWF Jeff Manson, I guess, in a lot of ways.
Without a doubt. And I feel you on that one. The next question I got here is, in 2002, after the invasion was over, one of the biggest pay-per-views and one of my favorite pay-per-views, Meltdown 2002. They had matches like the Dead Man versus Uncle Doc and John John. They had Psycho Jake and Bone Part 3 for the United States Championship. But the main event of that show was John Morris defending his title against Eric Draven. And no, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't Draven, the rated R superstar. It wasn't the Raven thing. It was old school, playing the music. It was awesome. It was time to give the title up, I guess. Hand the title over. One, my first question, how do you feel about losing it to Eric Draven?
Well, if anything, it's really boils down to this. Stars have to be made, and so just as I came in and basically became a star from facing Psycho Jake, it was, Eric Draven was already, established in TWF, but Eric Draven he shone through, I guess, and I'm not going to say that I necessarily made him a star, but what I'm going to say is that was his step onto becoming, in the future, the rated R superstar, and all these, things that he did, and where his career ended, the guy literally, at one point, was the man in this company.
Yes.
I have all the respect in the world for Draven. He's bad, I guess, and I respected him just because he did his own thing, and he kind of went by his own rules.
The second question, was you happy to lose to Draven, or would you rather have lost to somebody else? Did it really matter?
The way I look at it is this. If I'm going to lose to somebody, I want to lose it to somebody who is going to hold that title with the same respect and the same honor that I did.
Yeah.
And Psycho Jake held it with that.
Mm-hmm.
I did. And as we've seen, Eric Draven went on to do the exact same thing. Like I said, just in his own kind of way. I have no regrets at all about that, because, like I said, if he hadn't have, who knows who would have been, the man who would have stepped up after that, or who knows if Draven would have become the man that he did by the end of his career. So, in a lot of ways, I don't take credit for Draven being Draven, but I do take credit at maybe helping him find his niche in the company. So I think it's cool that if I was going to lose it, it was going to be to somebody like him.
So you didn't really ever contemplate on handing the title over to, let's say, a masked wrestler? Maybe it would bump his career up, maybe?
I was never really a Black Devil fan to begin with. Creeper, possibly.
Oh! Whoa! Well, don't turn the channel, folks. Oh! Whoa! Out there. You gotta get my rain boots on. Well, anyway, you lost the championship. Was an awesome match. No doubt. In my mind and anybody else's mind. And like you said, Draven's career, shot it. I mean, yeah, he had his downfalls after the title win, but hey, we all had something, you know. We're not going to go into the detail yet about your 2011 match, but the rival with the Dead Man, to me, and to a lot of other people, that rival between John Morris and the Dead Man, you can actually hold up with Bone and Sabbath, Psycho and Bone. Let's get Bone out the picture. Psycho and Enforcer. You know what I'm saying? Draven and Jeff Manson. I mean, that rival was so freaking put together so well. How did you feel about, like I said, don't talk about the last match, but how did you feel about working with the Dead Man in general?
Well, it was completely an honor at the same time. We liked pushing each other's buttons in our own way. We both had our own versions of mind games, I guess. Mm-hmm. And yeah. He played his and I played mine. It was kind of like a very intricate game of chess. And sometimes I kicked his pawn down and sometimes he tombstoned mine into the ground. But the matter of fact is that it was magic every single time me and the Dead Man stepped in the ring together, and that's what I loved about it. I mean, no matter what, I almost got this giddy kind of joy at pissing him off, but at the same time, it was just amazing knowing I was getting to work with a guy like this because, the guy's had so many legendary matches. Yeah. And for me to be a part of some of those, what could I say? As much as I want to, be, Morris for a minute and say, oh, this or that, when I really think about it, I didn't have a better rivalry, I don't think. I think, without a doubt, he was my biggest adversary, but at the same time, he was like my greatest partner, if you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
It's like, it took one of us to make the other one shine, I guess, in a lot of ways. And so, yeah, it was definitely special.
You guys played off each other. Timing was perfect. Almost like Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey, Harry and Lloyd. And I know that's an insult to the Dead Man to compare him to them two, but I'm just saying, great chemistry. Great chemistry. I remember the match. You had the Dead Man, you hit him over the head with the urn. You flick the urn out of the thing, all you hear is crunch. I was like, really? You just broke the urn. That was not planned, folks.
Not planned at all, but it's definitely something that, we're sitting there talking about a broken urn, years later, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like I said, there was just something special. Every time I got in there, I just knew something was, something crazy was going to happen, or, I don't know, win, lose, or draw, what I'm saying? I felt like at the end of the day, we both won those matches.
Yeah.
And, by the time TWF, shut down, it was the same way. I look back and I'm like, man, the stuff I did with that guy, what I'm saying, and just in the ring is just, it'll never be duplicated ever again.
Exactly. And I think that's what hurts a lot of people too, is they do always try to duplicate different matches. If you watch all the matches you and Dead Man have, completely different. And it was awesome. That was 2008, like when you really got into the rival with the Dead Man. When I loved it when you had the urn, the lights go out, lights come back on, there's the urn, you open it up, the smoke,
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I mean that was awesome.
That was definitely awesome. That was just kind of one of those little iconic moments, you know what I'm saying, in TWF history, and I'll never forget that, you know what I'm saying, because I was like, wow, because, you know, when you see the tape, you know, oh God, this guy's scared. And yeah, I was a little bit, but a lot of it was more like, oh, okay, this is where we're going with this. You know, it was kind of almost like an excitement about it. So
Yeah.
it really was.